Speaking of which, Dave, you shop for a new router, buddy?
Yeah, I'm actually wishlisting some as we go, because January, right?
Yeah.
As
Black
we
Friday
go,
should be
like
kind.
as we go during the podcast, or like as you guys talk more about it.
No, I'm constantly shopping during the podcast. Shopping, podcasting on other podcasts.
I mean, I can't blame him. I was just reading about gear ratios on the Spider 5-speed compared to the 6-speed that comes with the Celica. A lot of people are saying you should swap the 6-speed too because you'll stay in lift, which is their version of VTEC. You'll stay in lift in between shifts if you've got your foot on the floor. But I'm like, I don't really know if that matters to me, and my transmission works fine, so maybe I'll just stick with the 5-speed. But it's not that much more to get the 6-speed. That's the thing. So,
Joel, I just did a test.
What is it?
116 down and 11 up.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
The best I've ever had,
Sick, dude.
best I've ever had was 125 down and 25 up.
I'm probably gonna upgrade.
Oh, Gene,
But I want to upgrade my equipment first.
I want to watch your PS4 share play now. It's gonna be crystal clear.
It will be actually.
Yeah, we won't have that many problems anymore. It'll be problems on my side. Speaking of cars, I was driving home, and this car came out of nowhere, like off the off ramp, and I was just like, almost swerved into my lane, and I was just like, what the crap, right? Pull up aside and find out it was John and Debbie.
Oh, they were just messing with you?
No, they weren't. John sent me a message. I'm actually like, dude, I almost went into you. You were in my blind spot.
Wow. I bet you hear that a lot from him.
Hey, Joel, when I move there, will you let me borrow your car so I can experiment with detailing stuff on it?
What do you mean by?
I'll let you. No. I'll do it.
You'll
I'll
volunteer?
volunteer.
Okay.
I volunteer too.
Oh, Dave, no, your car is going to be like a special blog post. Meet the Civic that still had paint, as it turns out. Your paint, I think, is actually worse than the RAV4's. Oh, speaking of the RAV4, before we actually go live here, I mean, live. So we found a guy who's making a new top for it, right? So it's like, okay, no big deal. I just need to order these little plastic moldings that the top clips to because some of them are cracked and old and broken. Guess what's not made anymore? This must be like the least supported vehicle Toyota has ever made. It's a 1999. It's not that old. Like our 96 Tercel, we could get anything we wanted. You can get anything for this RAV4 except for anything related to the soft top. So I found one site where I had to send in my VIN number and they're going to be checking and they think they might be able to get me some vertical moldings, but for way too much money. That's why I tweeted today. I can't wait till I can 3D print car parts. It would make this so much easier.
It's coming.
That is
It's
pretty
coming.
awesome. Oh,
Could you imagine the modding community if you could just print your car parts? Like
The spoilers. The
Dave,
height
you
of
would
the
be making
spoilers.
so much money off of Jeremiah. Like, dude, 3D model this idea for me.
Probably.
As usual, no warranty. If the bridges I designed collapse, don't know what you're talking
It's got a lot of lift.
Yeah, I've got a whole Amazon wish list of detailing supplies. We're just waiting.
That's funny. I've got a whole wish list of things that need to be done in my car.
Well, detailing's different than working on it, but sure, bring it down.
My car is fine. Engine and driving wise.
What do you want to do to it?
I have 2 kids.
So all of your mods are related
No, mods.
to
Like,
like,
detailing.
Oh, detailing. Okay, so all your mods are related to like restraints or like one of those things they put in the police cruiser so the people in the back can't get up.
I'd probably put like the limo, like silence.
You want to just put a flat screen back there, completely sound deaden the whole thing, sensory deprivation chamber, no windows, no lights.
That's what cell phones are for. Just put 2 cell phones in their hands. They're just like,
Hey, that's funny, James. That's what all the college students in my area look like too.
But you've got things
Dave.
you want to do to it detailing wise. Like, what does it have problems? Is the paint getting old or?
no. I want the interior.
Oh, all right. Yeah, but
Kids.
I got plans.
That's a blog post.
It probably is. Yeah, it's I just want to learn how to do it. I've always wanted to do auto detailing, and I'll finally.
I have
live in
a bunch
place
of
that lets me
scratches
do it.
too. I mean, where I work, just,
Okay, cool.
they're just random people dinging.
But I got two
Ding, ding, ding.
orbital buffers on my list. I have.
That's
all
not
types
a
of-
real thing. Orbital buffers.
Yes, it is, Joel.
What is that though? I know
It's a machine you hold.
No. Let's just break down the words. This is how language
Okay,
works.
orbital.
What's
buffers.
a buffer? You know what a buffer is, right?
Yeah, it's like it's almost essentially like a not a washer, but like a little pad or something in between two things or something.
It's like a really, really fine sandpaper.
Orbital though. That's what gets me like. Orbital.
What do you think it does?
Orbital.
What is orbiting?
It's a buffer that orbits around something. Is it has to do with the wheels?
You can only use it in
close.
space.
He's close.
You can only use it in space.
You're close. You're close. What does something do when it orbits?
Center of gravity.
When it orbits, what does something do when it orbits? Does the moon orbit the Earth?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I mean, like it goes around.
Okay. All right. So
that's what I was guessing.
An orbital buffer.
Yeah.
Buffs in a round
Yeah.
motion.
So it's buffing whatever it's around. So it's cleaning something, like it's keeping something smooth. That's what I was guessing. It's something to do with wheels.
It's like a long drill. Nope, nothing to do with wheels. It's like a big drill looking thing.
Just like on the wheel.
That has a Velcro pad on one end. You attach a foam pad, and that spins. But it also has a little bit of it spins, but then the thing that's spinning also goes like this a little bit.
Oh, is it?
So it's like technically something you.
You can use it for like sanders, like an orbital sander.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
so
My
this
brother
is
has
not-
one
so
of
it
those.
is
It's a real thing.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a real
not
thing.
an orbital sander. Definitely totally different things, but it's like an orbital sander.
That would suck.
And you can use it because like a lot of the scratches on your car, it's in the clear coat, not in the paint itself. So you can just kind of buff it down, seal it, like polish it, seal it, and put wax on it. You can make it look like a new car. And then I'm getting like a
cool.
steamer so I can steam interiors. And yeah, James is like, right here, buddy, right here. I want to learn how to do it. I don't know if I'll do it like as a side income thing or just do it to all our friends' cars, but
I might deter you from doing this side income thing.
dude, why? Oh, just doing your car might?
Yeah,
You just charge extra, man. Not for you. You're my friend.
I'll just gripe extra. It's like, and I'll cry in my sleep when I'm done.
No, I really like cars, and keeping cars in good condition would be really good. I haven't lived in a place that really supports that yet. So, well, in the camper we could have, because we lived at Hope's parents' house, but we were spending
You could have
money
buffed your house.
on literally anything else was a better
And
thing to spend money on.
detailed your house back then.
No, their house is not their house.
No, I'm
needs to
talking
be
about your
bulldozed.
camper.
Oh,
You
shut
could have
up.
detailed your house.
I washed it right before I sold it. That's the only time.
Are you vacuuming the house, or are you like cleaning out the car when you're vacuuming a camper?
We did get a tiny portable vacuum because that was.
Did you drive it like up to the like little corner machines?
It didn't. It was a trailer. It did not have an engine. It was a travel trailer.
Guys, I found so much spare change. Why is my house full of Hardee's cups?
You guys would have liked to have been there when we made the modifications to make it more livable friendly. That basically means
Spoilers on the back, right?
no. I took the whole entertainment
Check out the
center.
exhaust
My sports camper.
I got a hammer and crowbars and took the whole entertainment center and just beat it to pieces and threw it out the door. And then we built a closet.
That's awesome.
And then we took out all the bunk beds and stuck them on the axles underneath the camper, and they stayed there for 2 years while we built an office.
What did
a
you get
desk.
rid of to make your actual? Yeah, like the area for your office. You said
The
That
bunk
was-
beds. The bunk beds in the back.
That's what it was.
Yep. So it was. Think about the
Did
width
you
of a
just
twin
go
bed.
like this?
So you got rid of the guest bedroom.
Yeah. Our guest bedroom was the couch, which turns into a bed because it's a camper. We even had people spend the night sometimes. It's a little weird, but
That's awkward.
it wasn't that awkward.
I mean, you guys are in the same room essentially.
Have you ever been camping with people before?
Yeah,
James?
camping, but that's your house. That wasn't camping. It's different
To them,
going-
it's camping. They're like, I'm on vacation. We're like, this is our home.
You get Joel.
It was just.
Hey, Joel, not everything's sex stuff.
It wasn't that. No.
Oh, sure. Yeah, definitely. It wasn't that.
I was
Maybe it's a
just
height thing.
No, yeah, it was. I was just
He
thinking,
like yawns and like hits the.
you're like laying in
Guess.
another room, your head's still in the other part of the camper. It's like, hey.
I mean, you're laughing, but my feet could touch the door and my hands could totally touch the
That's
wall
why I'm
in front
laughing.
of our bed.
Oh, wow.
You guys
Sorry,
want to
I'm in a
start the
giggly mood
podcast?
tonight.
That's all right.
This is actually more fun than probably the podcast is going to be because the other part's going to be kind of like dark.
Wow. All right, James.
It's gonna be dark.
Yeah, it is actually going to be more
Not dark.
sad.
You
Should
can
we
be
just
happy.
can it? Should we just can it?
You just want to play Battlefront so bad. You can't stand it right now.
Should we just
No,
not
I'm saying we
go
just
live?
we'll,
Like
just not do
officially?
the main topic.
Let's just not even. Let's just
Oh
not
yeah,
even do
all
any
right,
of this
screw the
stuff.
main topic. Screw the main topic. Well, we're still going to do the news though. We're definitely doing the news.
Okay, that works for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm excited about
Well,
it.
we can do the topic. We can do anytime.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, back to the camper. Yeah, so we took out the bunk beds, and that was the office area, and that's where we added the extra wiring. I had a separate circuit just for my computer, and that's why we had the fire.
You had a fire.
Oh yeah, there was a fire.
I didn't
It
know
was
about the fire.
The worst 24 hours, I think, of our entire time in the camper. Hope was in you guys' town visiting her roommate. Hope missed all of this.
Your
I came
house
back.
almost burned down in like 30 seconds.
That's not all that happened. Came home from a function late at night, and a storm was starting. So it was just starting to rain a little bit. I was like, oh, okay. You know, it's actually kind of nice going to sleep with rain on the ceiling of the camper. Like it sounds
That
nice.
actually
It's
probably
very-
put me to sleep.
It did. I went to sleep very quickly, and then I woke up at 2 a.m. to a crashing noise and the whole camper rocking back and forth because I'd forgotten the rules of living in a camper. When it's windy, you put the awning up, and it wasn't windy when I went to sleep, but
Oh,
it was
man.
windy then. And what happened? It was like a downpour, like the type of rain where you can't see 20 feet in front of your face. And it was windy, and it had pulled the awning mounts off the side of the camper. And
my
the awning
God.
is basically like a 8-inch thick aluminum tree trunk that's now swinging into the camper over and over again. And problem is, it's swinging right in front of the door. So I had to wait until the wind like gusted it up before I could open the door and get
Before you get
outside.
decapitated.
So I got outside, and it's pouring. I can't see anything. So I get a screwdriver, and it's like 2 a.m, and I've got a flashlight in my mouth, and I reattach the screws on the side and get the mount down. But then I've got to get the thing, like I've got to get it rolled back up, or I'm going to be, or it's just going to keep doing it. So I unhooked the tension thing to get it going, but it had so much water on it. It was so soaking wet that the tension motor that rolls the thing up couldn't roll it up.
Oh man.
So, and then the thing that releases it was the aluminum piece got bent by slamming into the camper. So I went inside and got a hand weight, and I was beating this thing at like 2 a.m. in a downpour, trying to get it to straighten back out. And I got it straightened enough that it started rolling in, and then you're going to height jokes incoming. I just walked it up to the side of the camper, just rolling it hand in hand until it got up like over the door. And it was like, I was on my tiptoes. I had it like, it was like 8.5 feet in the air or something. And I had it up against the side. And then I went inside, and I was so soaking wet and pissed off. I took off all my clothes, just threw them in a pile, like down in the wheel well.
Like all your clothes.
All my clothes. And I was like, F it. I'll take care of it in the morning.
Open a beer. It's gonna be one of those days.
And then I had to go to sleep because I had to get up early the next morning because
Oh,
we were
that
doing
sucks.
we were doing the timing belt on the Subaru, which is where you pull it into the shop, and then you take the whole front of the engine off. Because the timing belt, I couldn't find a sticker saying that it had ever been done. And if it hadn't been done, it was 50,000 miles past due. So did the timing belt, water pump, all that stuff, which on a Subaru is not really that easy. It's not bad now that I've done it, but it's not that easy. Got the whole car back together, and finally got it started at like 8:30 in the evening. I was like, finally, I can kick off my like weekend, Hope's gone. I've got my bachelor weekend all to myself. I'm going to play video games. I'm going to kick back. Go inside. I'm like, oh, let me take a shower. I did. I opened a beer, took a big old drag, hit the power button on my computer, turned around to walk to the shower, heard a whoom, and there were sparks flying out this, like where we added the extra wiring. I was like, oh, I just kicked open the door, and Hope's dad was still putting tools away in the garage.
I want to imagine that you turned around and sit there for a second, actually made that noise, and then you started running to get help.
Yeah, I kicked open the door.
That's where that noise came from, the llama sound.
It's his alarm sound. Like Gondor calls for aid.
I kicked open the
And
door
all the
and yelled,
tree ants come and help him.
His brothers and sisters, you mean?
I was at Hope's parents' house. There were no brothers and sisters. But I kicked open the door and yelled, "We have a fire!" And Hope's dad, like I forget what he was doing. He just threw whatever it was on the ground and went running for a fire extinguisher. And then I went running back inside and I was like, "Oh crap, that's an electrical fire." And I was like, think, electrical fire. So I ran out around the back and unplugged the camper from the power thing. And then
Plugged your house to put the fire out.
it's an electrical fire.
You're not wrong. It's just hilarious.
It ran back inside and
Plugged my house like.
And Hope's dad had like ripped up the wood paneling we'd put over it like to blend it all in. He'd ripped it up and was like, he tossed a blanket on it, I think, just to take out the rest of the smoke. And so when all was said and done, what happened was the air conditioner, if you run that in the hot water heater, it would pop the circuit because campers aren't designed to run everything at the same time. We'd popped the circuits enough times accidentally that the sheathing over where the wires joined together had melted through and the wire started arcing against the little junction box it was in. So Hope's dad put it all back together the next day, but that means that night I had no electricity and no heat, and I just went to sleep. Like, it was like late October, so it wasn't incredibly cold.
Did you get sick too, Jeremiah, that weekend? Like right afterwards? Because I remember you like spent that weekend outside and you felt like crap afterwards.
Yeah, because it was cold. Yeah, I didn't feel, the whole thing made me not feel good.
But you actually got sick the next week too.
A little bit sick, yeah. Yeah, and then so I spent that night just watching Netflix on the iPad using the house's Wi-Fi signal, just waiting for sleep to come because I have no electricity.
Take me sleep.
For death.
Yeah, but I was like,
So you didn't get your like hot shower or anything either?
No.
Gosh.
So I was like, it'll be uphill from here. Like, this is it. This is the low water mark. It will be better from here on out.
You should have just said, "Screw you guys, I'm going to a hotel."
And it almost was. The only thing that got worse than that was the 3 months before we moved out, the heater broke during a record cold week. It was like in the teens.
What'd you guys do?
It broke at 11 at night, and it's a propane heater. It's like the spark plug, the heating element.
Yeah.
It broke. So I was like, well, it's too late at night. Like, there's nothing we can do about this right now. Like, obviously, no one's
there
coming
is
to fix
something
it.
we can do about
I feel dirty.
So anyway,
It's just survival.
Joel, we're talking about like the temperature inside the camper was going to get down into the 30s. So this isn't uncomfortably cold. This is dangerously cold.
Yeah.
So
Or how I get my apartment.
we had a little electric space heater because the thing is, it doesn't have much insulation. So we got the little electric space heater and stuck it in our bedroom. And then we shut the door to the bedroom and then took all our blankets and like insulated the door and the windows and everything as best we could. Cranked the heater all the way up and then set out a little thing of water so it wouldn't dry us out too bad. And then went to sleep. And I think it was in like the high 50s the next morning. So it was very uncomfortable, but it wasn't terrible. The rest of the camper
It wasn't life threatening at least.
was freezing, yeah. But I'm proud of myself. I
wow.
talked to a mechanic over the phone and helped me diagnose the problem. I ordered it. I installed it myself. It was a $7 part. Got it working again. But until it was working again, we used a propane shop heater we put on the floor in the middle of the camper. And like, hopefully we won't burn to death. And everybody didn't go to sleep.
Or die of carbon monoxide poisoning.
No, we had a carbon monoxide detector. We were okay.
Oh, perfect. I've done that before. When the house was like completely uninsulated, we had like a shop like rocket heater.
Oh, okay. That's worse.
It's a lot worse.
Yeah.
No
All
one's
right.
dead though, so that's good.
But that was when I was like, from here, it has to get better. And it did. We moved out like 3 months later. I don't miss it.
Not even a little.
I
How about
miss
that lack of debt though?
It is pretty nice, not gonna lie. That way I can throw money into my petulant children. I mean, my cars.
And your computers.
told
I
Hope
wish
today-
you'd kept your camper.
Why?
We could have just like parked it somewhere in the woods, and that could have been like our,
Our love.
the implication.
The implication station.
More of like David, our Gwent getaway camper.
Your face got really straight. You're like, What's he gonna say?
Why is a camper required for this, Joel? Why can't we just play in public?
We actually
Are you ashamed now?
we sold that to furnish the apartment and help build up our emergency fund because we calculated when we moved out, we didn't we saved up enough money to pay off the last of student loans. It was if we clear out every scrap of money we owe, we can make the last payment now. Now's good. We signed a lease. So we were pretty darn broke.
I remember that. You guys, I think it was the last big payment. You were like, let's just do it. And you were going to be done. But you're like, oh, it's going to suck for a little bit.
Yeah.
He only had 4 cars at that point. It was a tough time.
I told Hope, I was like, screw these old project cars. Like, let's just sell them all and get an STI. Like everything. Let's just sell all the cars. She didn't want to.
She said, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Okay, who enabled links in the chat? It's all downhill from here now.
Ben's a mod, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
Special privileges.
All right. So anyway, welcome to Casual Shenanigans Gaming, a podcast all about the irreverent love of gaming. I'm one of your hosts, Jeremiah. Tonight I am joined by Dave of Rivia.
Ooh, I like this.
I like how you smile. You're making fun of me a little bit, but I'll take it. We are joined by James from the People's Republic of California.
Yes.
And we are joined by Joel.
Drinker of fine waters.
Show everybody. I don't care. We're not homophobes on this podcast, but that is the gayest can I've ever seen.
Let's say La Crotch, Joel.
La Cru. I think it's French. La Cru. La Cru.
It stands for La Crap.
It's sparkling grapefruit water.
Ew.
Yeah, it was also like the
Grapefruit
gayest
by itself is nasty.
I love grapefruit.
You don't like eating grapefruits, like the fruit itself?
It's different, but drinking grapefruit.
Oh, I love grapefruit juice.
and then
if it had
making
so much sugar in it, I'd do it more. Oh, Dave, remember that sushi place we went to that then closed? It was in our town.
The one where John made all those wildly inappropriate noises while he ate his sushi.
Hope has found a new place. They give you the sushi box, which is like a to-go box with a whole bunch of sushi and a salad and all kinds of stuff. Joel, did you see what Shane wrote in chat for you?
The reason why I'm laughing so hard is I played Rocket League with Shane the other night, and we were playing against this one team. And this one guy was named, I think, Milky White or something like that. And so he kept on saying, he said something about he's like, oh yeah, milk that shot. And so every other thing I was typing was just something milk related. And then Shane just types, he's like, milk. What he said up above, something about the
milker of snakes, milker of mini snakes,
milker of snakes, milk the snake of freedom or something. I was just like, what? But then the guy in the game, he came over because we were playing on PC, and he came over chat and he was like, "Hey Wilson, just stop talking about milk." And then that's it. And so I was like. Right, yeah, that's gonna stop me.
It's apparently he's never met me. I'm 11. Let's do this.
Milk the snake of freedom. And I was just like, what is that sentence?
Milking a snake's a real thing, right?
Yes, I have heard of that.
But
still,
not the other thing.
Well, we're off to a.
I heard about that right before the podcast.
So anyway, we start the show as we always do with the Fallout fanfiction challenge. Joel.
Okay, I forgot about this for a couple months actually. I meant to do this way earlier. Because I was talking to Dave about this, and he actually got really excited about it, and he wanted to join too.
I did?
Yeah, you got excited. You were like, ooh, I
yes,
can do this
Dave,
really good.
we're excited.
Oh yeah,
So-
I got really pumped up.
We all know that Fallout 4 is coming out soon. So the challenge is you have to write in your best one-page fan fiction story set in the Fallout universe. So you can send it to our email, and it's casualshenanigans@gmail.com. You have to include me and James as the main characters with our personalities. So you have to write it as best as you've been listening to the podcast of how we are. So James and I are going to vote on the best stories, whichever one you guys send in. So we'll read through them, and the winner we'll read on the podcast live. So that's why it just needs to stay one page. If you're over a page, you're screwed. You don't win anything. The line you must include is, "Why can't I carry all this loot?" So the line you have to include into the story is, "Why can't I carry all this loot?" If you win, you get a copy of Fallout 4. You have to submit the fan fiction story by November 10th. So that is like roughly like 4 or 5 weeks from now. And
If you lose, you get a copy of Joel's memoirs.
and I'm including that Dave is allowed to enter this challenge.
What? Can I enter?
No.
No, you can't. Just Dave can.
I want to win.
Because Dave, I was sitting beside him at work, and he's like, "Oh, I could win this. I could win this." And he's like, "Oh, that lore." I was like, "All right, I want to see. I kind of want to see Dave's writing on this." So
just to
I'll
I'll be at it, Dave.
Just to recap, and I guess Joel, there's no way we have time codes for this episode, is there?
I just started actually. I just
really?
started.
Oh, cool.
You did, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, just to recap, Fallout fan fiction, 1-page story. Has
Joel
to
and
include,
James,
has
main
to include me
characters.
and James as the main characters and our personalities. We're gonna judge. You have to include the line, "Why can't I carry all this loot?" You get a free copy of Fallout 4 if you're the winner, and we'll read your story off if you're the winner. So
And submit it by November 10th.
By November 10th.
The earlier the best.
Yep.
What? Has no bearing on winning.
What's that?
That's okay. That has no bearing on winning.
Okay, it is now time
So,
to do.
I have to
It's
say
now time
before.
to talk to
hold on,
James.
Hold on. I dread the amount of Brokeback Mountain fan fiction
was
we're going to be reading.
hoping we could just not mention that.
Well, we don't have to read all those on the podcast.
No, we're not
but I
gonna
just,
read them.
yeah, but we have to read them though.
You get to read them.
Yeah, I know. It's our pleasure. To read them.
Joel custom orders and a few personal audiobooks.
Big James, read it to me. I'm closing my eyes.
Anywho, it's now time for the news. As always with the news, we each of us brings a news item to the table, and then we have some general interest items. So Dave, why don't you take it away?
Yeah. So Jeremiah, being a fellow pretty relatively dedicated PC gamer, I'd say, relatively.
All right.
Okay. I mean, you're okay.
Insinuation accepted.
You own a few too many consoles, is all I'm saying. You know where to go for your PC gaming needs, right? Like you know.
Amazon, Newegg.
When you need that game or that new video card, you go to GameStop. That is where you go for PC games.
Can you
right?
pre-order graphics cards there? I'm part of
You
the power.
can, but they're not good.
I think you can get like joysticks and stuff from GameStop still,
No,
right?
you can legitimately buy from the website at least video card.
Oh.
But
I was
it's
talking
like
about in
way
store. It's
behind.
like
In store.
Yeah, it's like keyboards and mice occasionally, and like maybe a half shelf of games. I haven't been to GameStop for PC stuff in like over a decade, but apparently GameStop is the sole retailer in North America for Steam machines, which caught me by surprise.
Are you sure sole retailer?
Yeah, that is the last news that I caught, unless it has changed since Monday.
To me, that makes sense because I think a Steam machine would be
Yeah.
more closer to a console than it would be trying to buy, complicated. I mean, if they're trying to make it simplified,
Yeah.
it makes sense. But
GameStop, Valve's exclusive partner in this venture in the U.S. It's very much marketing speak, but still worth quoting because it's true. This comes from PC Gamer, by the way. So yeah, GameStop is Valve's exclusive partner in the U.S. for brick and mortar purchases for now. Like it's got like 10 different lines of small text, but an interesting choice. Much like Joel's choice to stop breathing and turn very, very red in the face.
It's just from all the grapefruit
yeah,
coursing through his veins.
I don't get it. Like, what money is GameStop going to be making off of these?
Well, what really amused me too is
because you're buying cards. So, I mean, you're not going to make anything off, buying Steam cards. I mean, I could see a retailer like Best Buy selling it with, TVs and stuff like that. That would make more sense to me. But
what kind of blows my mind too, I think someone on PC Gamer also pointed this out. That means GameStop is selling a competing ecosystem for games in their own stores. You can't resell Steam games. I'm sure it's not like going to take a huge bite out of their sales or anything like that, but it's just funny to think about, like they're selling in someone else's storefront in their store.
Well, they do that with the consoles now too, because they have so many online sales have become such a big thing for consoles.
Very true.
But you're right. They can't make the insane profits off trade-ins that they normally do off console
It's a little weird
games.
to think about it. Yeah,
It is. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic, more cautious than optimistic. But
I think if the Steam machines do well, I think they'd be kind of screwed if they weren't trying to sell them. You know, like
That's a
that
good
was
point,
if that
too.
wasn't a place to like, because I mean, if you think about Steam machines are for what? Gaming, right? You know, at least it sounds like that's what they're trying to build them for. So I think like if you go into like, where are they? A Steam machine. If they're not easy to find for someone who's just thinking, I want to play a video game. Here's a Steam machine. I can play games on it. You know, it's kind of like a PC. You know, I think it makes sense.
All right. Next bit of news. My bit. The Need for Speed beta was this past weekend, or closed alpha? Beta. It's a beta. We can't show you any footage of it, but we played it. Most of us played it, and it's pretty fun. It's on Frostbite. It looks actually really, really good. Dave, were you impressed? I guess if you're impressed, it officially looks good.
Well, I played it on John's 720p TV from like 30 feet away, so yeah, it looked really, really good.
But the art style and everything is definitely reminiscent of the old Underground.
They nailed the style.
It looks
the
like the old
lighting-
Underground games. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, the lighting, what really stood out to me is that it's really just bombastic and over the top, which is a great idea, like, for what they had to work with. So, yeah, looked good.
Joel, stop reading chat. Can you focus on the podcast?
I am focusing still.
Focusing somewhere.
Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, the customization was, I only had unlocked.
Your stream just like freaked out.
Yeah, it did for me too on everything.
Looks fine for me.
Yeah, everyone froze
It's
up
back.
there.
It's back. Yeah,
there we go.
You were like this.
I've had zero interruptions on my end, so maybe just play it cool. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
All good here, sir. How are you?
But the customization, which is what I'm really looking forward to, like I don't play Need for Speed for the amazing driving because it's pretty arcadey, but the customization of the cars was a ton of fun. I made a lot of really ugly, like I made a stanced Miata with no back bumper and a real old Mustang that was also stanced. I stanced a lot of stuff this past weekend.
What is stancing?
That's where you lean the tires in. Remember, lean the wheels in?
Oh, okay. I think I actually heard of that.
Then I
fairly recently,
also slid them out to the edges and made them too big, and it not a good look. But it was a ton of fun. Graphics are good. Gameplay's 30 FPS, and the handling is not very good. A lot of people online are not happy with it, but I found after tuning and upgrading enough parts, it started to get quite a bit better. So we'll see when the game comes out, but I'm pretty excited. I'm definitely going to be buying it probably on the PS4. Dave, if you want to rent it, we can play that a little bit.
Sweet.
you can pretend you're a cop.
You can't, not in this one.
That was my immediate question was,
But
all right,
you
how do
can
you play as the
pretend.
cops? How do you pretend, Joel? Like, there's literally no way to even come close to pretending that you're a cop in that game. They all chase you constantly. There's no way around it.
They're
Imagination,
going
man.
with you. They're chasing
Imagination.
with you. You're undercover.
Yeah, you're an
They're helping
undercover
chase
cop.
Go
You're an undercover
around, guys. Go around. We're going to get him. Guys, okay, I'll take lead again. Yeah.
Wow, that's the lamest I've ever thought about Need for Speed.
I bet Dave will roleplay that though.
It kind of work.
He'll make it work.
All right, we'll shut that down right now.
Need for Speed Europe.
But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. The beta was definitely pretty fun. I wish I could have played more. But Joel, what's your news item?
Sony's Shuhei Yoshida was talking about the next 20 years of PlayStation in this article I read just recently.
We'd like to sell a bunch more. Oh no, sorry. What did he say?
And there's a bunch of really interesting things in it, but I was just going to pull out one piece that I thought was really smart, you know, and he was talking about they're really curious, you know, they're excited that the PS4 has been selling really well, like it's done way better than they expected. But they were wondering if the console generation is kind of plateauing. And what they mean by that is that it might be at the amount of gamers that will be buying it. So it's like there's not that many more people that are probably going to be getting into gaming, or that they're wondering if that might be it. So what they think this console generation has happened is that the people that already are excited about PS4 or are about gaming are just buying them quicker than usual. So it's just kind of like, okay, you're a fan of, I don't know, like I'm a fan of anything Valve. So all they're going to get is, let's say they plateaued at about 20 million people that play Valve games. Well, the next game that comes out, they're just going to get up to 20 million plateau much quicker each time. But they're wondering, are we going to get any farther than that? And so I'm just trying to connect this really quick down to the PlayStation VR. He was saying one of their big reasons for doing VR is something that you don't have to be like a gamer to enjoy, or kind of like the same way like when the Wii came out, it was the Wii Sports. So you didn't have to be an actual gamer to just want to try something out that's new and different. And they're hoping that it can become a platform that if someone wants to play a VR thing, and they've been talking about price of saying it's going to be about the price of a console. So they're saying for the, like a rough price, maybe around $600, you can buy a whole bundle, get into VR and see sites, do games or community or social things and stuff like that. So I just thought that was interesting. I was like, I didn't think about it. I'm like, yeah, like what do you do if like we've already got all the gamers, how do you get someone into something like PlayStation, PS4 if all it is games? So I think, they're trying to build that thing, hoping to expand their base. So maybe they'll get into VR, maybe they'll get into games and, continue to get more players. I just thought that was fascinating.
I say it's not going to happen.
What do you think?
I'll be the naysayer. I mean, if you're not into gaming, are you going to go out and spend $600 to get a VR set?
A lot of people spent $250 to get a Wii and only bowl on it. I mean,
yeah, but that was, again, the learning curve on that is so low. Yeah. But getting into VR is just, it's even more novelty than, playing a Wii Sports.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that VR gets out of the novel. I hope someone nails it and they kind of figure out something.
Someone is in the process of nailing it.
Yeah.
Which I'll mention during my little
spiel. All right. Okay. Well, I mean, I think it's time for your spiel now, James.
So Microsoft had their conferences. I'm going to do that too.
Okay, cool.
Microsoft had their conferences what day was that? This week flew by.
I think it was Tuesday.
Tuesday
or Wednesday.
Yeah.
And so, they announced a bunch of cool stuff. They didn't really do anything for Xbox, but they finally announced their own branded laptop, which is actually, I think, pretty decently spec'd for what they're competing against. What are they going? They're going against Apple, aren't they? Pull it up. But what really, really impressed me was getting to see HoloLens again, because I was so blown away by the initial presentation that I didn't want to be necessarily let down watching this. And I have to say, it looked pretty much flawless. Like seeing things actually determine depth as you're playing. I mean, who knows if it was, procedurally generated or if it was all somewhat scripted. But it looked like it was reading the room pretty well. So I'm really excited about that. I see that being more beneficial than VR in the future. I mean, cool. even if you take the gaming out of it, imagine the real world applications. Forget gaming. In the medical field, if you're like in medical school and you're standing around watching the doctor show different parts of the body, it's easy to pull up a heart and like actually show the different parts of it and stuff. So,
oh yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, I see that being pretty big. And they didn't really mention gaming, but they did show a game demo, which was pretty crappy, but it was still cool tech. The other news item is the specs for Battlefront, which I barely meet the minimum specs.
Well, all right, so what's the deal? What's the deal with the specs for Battlefront? Minimum specs for Battlefront.
So you have to have a 64-bit OS, no big deal.
Yeah,
you should have to. Anyway. You have to meet the amount of RAM. Processor, they want an i3 6300T or equivalent, which is not bad.
What do you have?
I have an i5.
That's what I thought.
You have to have the minimum requirements. Although we've got
something for you in a minute here.
8 gigabytes. This is minimum PC specs. This isn't the ideal computer. This is you really need this to even run it. And then 40 gigs, hard drive space, GTX 660, which is pretty
It's old at this point.
It's old, but it's not a slouch.
No, it's not a terrible card. Nope, not at all.
Or 7850 ATI, and the rest don't matter. The recommended requirements are equally ridiculous, I think. So this is where I think they're starting to push the new technology. Like they're getting a little push from NVIDIA or Intel. An Intel i5 6600 or equivalent. So, I mean, you have to have basically a brand new, like, just off the press.
Not a Q6600, which is at this point like 7 years old. The new 6600, which is, like a couple months old. Yeah, that's stupid.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the recommended specs, though, Joel. All right, and then what else?
The recommended memory, 16 gigabytes. Like 3D modeling.
Anyway,
you can use it, but
contain the rage. Contain the rage.
Anyway, and again, 40 gigs of hard drive space. That's not going to change. They recommend having a 970, which makes sense, or 290. And then, internet connection.
Yeah,
Which
internet, they only say
I love how they say
512
512. What are you going to do with 512 kilobit? Watch the
Not
the
download a
rosters?
40 gigabyte game, that's for sure.
They have disk copies.
So yeah, their minimum specs require 8 gigs of RAM, which I think this might be the first game that's ever required that as a minimum. Fallout 4 also released their minimum specs, which include 8 gigs of RAM, but this week. But I think Battlefront was first. So today I was like, well, minimum 8 gigs, let's see. So I installed it on the potato masher, fired it up, and it runs totally fine. There's a video on my channel. This is just a preview. I've never done a potato masher preview before. It's not a review. I don't compare the PlayStation 4 and the PC. It's just seeing, okay, does this actually run on the potato masher? It's totally fine. The game recommended I run everything at medium, and that got me 1080p, 60 FPS with a few drops. I did also try it on high, and it was basically the same frame rate. So I'm thinking that with better drivers and when the game actually releases, I think high is probably fine. But yeah, it went anywhere from 3 gigs of RAM usage to all the way up to 4. But most of the time it was like at 3.5. And even when it got to 4, there was no stuttering. It was fine.
And it didn't freak out when it hit 4.
No, because the page file just takes care of that.
How much page filing did it reach after that?
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't tell you unless you have a second monitor running where you keep an eye on it. But I mean, Windows is designed to do your page file. It can run tons and tons of page file as long as it's not needed to be real fast. Like it's designed to do that. But yeah, it was totally fine. I mean, if it needed 8 gigs of memory, the page file could not make up for 4 gigabytes of memory the game desperately needed. Like that's not how it works. It's a little tiny bit of a buffer. That's it.
My question is there any way we can find out from the developer or anyone, how are they able to like legally be doing this crap? Because
what's the legality?
Well, I don't know, but think about this, right? You see the specs. You don't know everything about PCs other than, hey, okay, it says specs on here. I'll go get that, and I have the money. You buy those specs, right? I don't know, and then you find out another from like, wait, you can run it too. You only have 3 gigs of RAM or whatever, something really small. What the crap? I just spent like $1,300 buying a CPU and when it was totally fine.
Well, I mean, think about it legally for them. It's better to say, oh well, your game can at least run versus. You said these are the specs I needed. This won't run at all.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's a support issue where they're trying to control the amount of support tickets that really are just people who didn't understand that their computer can't handle it. If they shoot for the stars, then, it's just easier on their support. Because
you remember when the whole Windows Vista debacle happened? There were tons of laptops with that Vista compatible sticker on them, which meant they just met a minimum requirements thing from Microsoft. And as it turned out, most of those ran Vista horribly, and they weren't anywhere close to fast enough. So I think people kind of like the whiplash from that has led people to require higher things.
But what would you do with 16 gigs of RAM?
That's the thing. If you have more RAM, the computer will use more RAM. RAM is not like.
No, I mean, I understand that. I mean, I do video work, but in gaming,
you don't.
What is it going to do?
I mean, the unpatched version of Arkham Knight was using 12 gigs of RAM on my system.
But that was a memory leak.
Right. You don't. Your computer's fine, and you think, oh, well, I have 16 gigs. That's why it runs fine. You would never know the difference. Like, unless you take a stick of RAM out and try it, you wouldn't know that it was fine without it as well. But I mean, it's a beta, so there was a stutter if I got too close to the AT-AT walker, which a couple other people have confirmed in the comments.
Now, what if after the patch it doesn't work with 4 gigs?
Well, that's why I was
like
very
the
clear.
potato masher is a failure.
That's why I was very clear. This is pre-release only. Stuff could change, but if it's running fine on 4 gigs, I don't think it'll get worse. It's a Battlefield game.
More
who knows?
No, but didn't Battlefield 4, like, I know it didn't work great or something like that. Wasn't there a game that like a patch came out or something happened that it was like you can't play it now with the 4 gigs? Am I remembering wrong? I
Battlefield 4 has a memory leak. It's the only game we've tested on the Potato Masher that had memory issues, and that's just because, and their minimum was only 4 gigs, but no matter how much you had, the game would just keep using more and more and more. So it kind of like, it didn't work, but unless you had like 16 gigs where you had tons of buffer, you probably would run into some stuttering. But also Battlefield 4, when it came out, had so much stuttering anyway that like, I'm not sure there was that big of a difference. But yeah, we'll see. It's very possible when it finally comes out, like when Battlefront releases, it won't run on 4 gigs. But early results, a lot of people are saying, like from reading the threads on Reddit, people are very happy with the performance so far. And that's, I think, the best way to find out minimum specs. You should never be pre-ordering any game, ever. You just shouldn't pre-order games, except for a very few fringe cases, and if that applies to you, you know why. But
Can you purposely throttle your own internet?
yeah.
I feel like we should do a video of your internet throttled at 512K.
I can throttle just that IP address. Yeah, I can throttle it and see.
I think you should do that.
See how many days it takes to install a game
Well, I don't even know about stalling. Just play
just
online.
play-
I would
just play.
love to see you play online.
at 512. I mean, in theory, it'll work, but I don't even know, like, finding a server has to suck. Like, I can't imagine. That's a good idea. Remind me about that when the game comes out. We need to try that.
Don't get on voice chat.
But yeah, so we'll test it. We'll do a real test when it comes out. But early results seem to indicate that it's totally fine. And I'm guessing the same is going to be true of Fallout. That's my prediction. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I could see Fallout using more RAM than Battlefield.
It's not multiplayer games though can be very hard in your requirements because it's trying to balance so much. If anything, I think it would be easier on it, but we don't. The most memory demanding games I've tested so far have been The Witcher, because it's such a massive world it's loading, which could mean that Fallout needs it, or Battlefield because it's a multiplayer game with like 64 people.
I just don't know how like the persistent stuff that's going to be in your own world that you build your own city. That's got to be there.
That's probably going to be memory.
It will be attacked and stuff while you're out doing your quests.
Yeah, we'll see. It will be very interesting.
James, I think it's like 21 days.
Wow, that's it?
Yeah, it's getting really close.
I told Joel.
Where's the link to the countdown?
It's on my Mac. I'm using the widget, the widget thing.
I feel like CDPR definitely timed the Witcher DLC around Fallout. I mean, not actually, but it just feels like it just lined up so perfectly for me. I've got a 10-hour DLC. Which
You don't think they didn't have
hours.
a single conversation about a big game coming out that's going to suck everybody's life away?
They actually announced their expansion pass before Fallout was even announced.
But did they announce the dates of the
Just
content?
fall and spring. It was pretty generic.
Yeah, I mean,
But it's just so
saying.
good. It's so perfect, James. This year is just so kind.
Okay.
Next bit of news.
you sure, Joel?
Far Cry Primal has officially been announced, coming early 2016. This is actually pretty cool. Instead of pumping out like Far Cry 5, which would be just like Far Cry 4 and Far Cry 3, Far Cry Primal, you play a man named Takar in the Stone Age, and there's mammoths, and there's saber-toothed tigers, and you have rocks and spears. Not a lot of guns, I'm guessing. And you have to survive.
You know that's gonna be like towards the end. You just randomly get a gun.
Are there any
Are
Are there any dinosaurs?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't be
joking.
surprised if they do something like that.
I would,
We'll see.
but anyway, it looks like it could be really cool. I'm excited just because the premise, like this is not a premise you see a lot in games because for the reasons you don't see like a Revolutionary War shooter game. The tools aren't really there. Like, I think this could be really awesome, and I'm curious to see how this is going to do with Horizon.
I think it's a good direction for them, honestly.
yeah. I think it's
refreshing. Yeah.
I kind of think
very, very rarely do you ever get to ever experience that time period. So, I mean, 'cause we just don't know what to put.
Yeah.
it would be awesome if they added a lot more abilities with like spears and stuff like that than just kind of keeping what they had in Fallout 4 or 3. You know, like here's a bow, here's chucking
You
rock.
want to be
You know
able
what
to
I mean? Like,
upgrade your spear, extra binding.
I don't know, something that allows you like a lot more cool trick moves, maybe. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
High capacity magazine for your bow and
capacity
arrow.
spears.
Yeah.
You got like 7 of them.
All right, next bit of news. Oh, that's coming out early 2016, they say. So fall 2016 after it gets delayed.
Wow, that's ambitious.
We'll see. So this is a little bit different, but it might affect you. A bunch of video game voice actors are going on strike. So SAG-AFTRA, which is the Screen Actors Guild of something voice actors. I don't know what the rest of it stands for. But 96.52% of its union members have voted in favor of going on strike, which is a pretty overwhelming majority. So they feel like voice and motion cap actors are maybe not getting the fairest end of the stick when it comes to games development. So the stuff they are interested in is they want, let me see, I've got a little list here. Okay, they want actors to be entitled to residuals if the games sell upwards of 2 million copies, so kind of like royalty checks. They want stunt coordinators on hand for motion capture shoots, which actually seems pretty darn reasonable. Since a lot of like voice actors are doing the motion cap for like combat scenes and stuff. They want stunt pay. You get paid extra if you're doing stunt work in a movie. They want stunt pay for vocally stressful recording sessions, because if you're a voice actor, that's your bread and butter. That makes sense. And more transparency in what their work's going to be used for, which I don't agree with, because voice actors have accidentally leaked quite a few games, and that's like because they've been told what they're working on, then they just tell someone later, "Oh yeah, I'm recording for that new Far Cry game," and Ubisoft's like, "Crap."
But I mean, what if they're recording for something and they realize they're in some, I don't know, sexual thing, like some scene that they weren't
I
expecting?
think they know more than that. They know more than that.
How would they not know, Joel? Oh baby, oh baby.
Well,
What's the scene about?
No, I'm saying like, I mean, I'm saying like if their characters used talking in a scene they didn't know they were in, or I don't know, something that they don't feel like, hey, I don't want to be a part of this. Like, maybe you're not the one active doing it, but your character's in there saying something you didn't realize your character's actually shooting a baby or I don't know, something ridiculous. You're like, yeah, I don't want that. I don't know.
I mean, that's one of those things like you find out what content is going to be in it before you take the job, and once you take the job, you're under contract to do it.
I don't know how I feel about the residuals.
I don't either, because like, is every artist who worked for 24 months on that game, are they going to get residuals, or just the voice
Definitely
actor?
not.
Just the voice actor who came in for 4 weeks and recorded a bunch of lines.
I think if anything, if they have a sequel, they should get like a first dibs, basically. What's the first refusal?
Yeah, right of first refusal.
Right of first refusal.
Oh, yeah.
To do the sequel, so they can't just go out and get a different actor to pay them less. Mm-hmm. But because sometimes you do, the actor does make the game. Like, you want to hear that. I mean, hearing anybody but God, what's his name? Batman. What's his name, Joel?
Bale.
No.
Ben Affleck?
No.
Oh, Kevin Conroy.
Voice. Yeah, Kevin Conroy.
Okay, Ben Affleck. I don't think anyone said that yet. No one other than Ben Affleck will do it for me as the Caped Crusader.
Said.
I mean, so you might be thinking, okay, well, who are some of these people? Because how does this really affect you? So actors like Jennifer Hale, who was FemShep from Mass Effect and a bunch of other things, but that's probably what you know her from. Will Wheaton from a ton of different things. David Hayter, the old Snake. Steve Bloom from Vanquish. Ilias Tufrixis, which is from the Deus Ex series. And then Sarah Elma from Gone Home, and Tara Strong from Batman Arkham City, and a whole bunch more people. Like, everyone who's in this group pretty much is on strike now. So, or they voted to go on strike. So it's not assumed they're going to get everything they're asking for, because you normally make really demanding demands and then you settle somewhere in the middle. But I think some stuff like having the stunt pay and stunt coordinators on hand, that makes total sense. I don't think residuals, I don't think that should be a thing. Just because there's so many people doing creative work.
Cases.
Maybe,
I think.
yeah.
I mean,
Like,
the guy that does Optimus Prime, he's been in like everything. I could see someone like him.
That's the thing, though. That shouldn't be a union thing. Then they should negotiate.
Right. That should be. You want my voice?
Right. Exactly. They should negotiate that on an individual basis. Like Pierogi said, a lot of them feel like their expertise and names are being used to sell the games, but they're not getting the pay and recognition that Hollywood people are, which might be true, but that's when you negotiate it in your contract for the game. You don't say, okay, well, everybody should get this, because there aren't that many. Like, how many video game voice actors can you name off the top of your head? It's not like Hollywood. There aren't that many whose names you know.
They need Robert Downey Jr. as a agent.
Yeah. So if they want it, I think some of them probably deserve to get paid a royalty or a residual because their name does sell games. But that's a very small percentage of them, and they should probably negotiate that. But I mean, they can ask for whatever they want, and it's up to them to negotiate it. And if publishers agree to it, I mean, that's totally within their right to do it. But if like the artists and people who work for years on a game aren't getting residuals if it sells well, then I don't know that a voice actor is entitled to residuals. If they want to negotiate for it, that's of course up to them.
Bye, Joe.
All right, and then do we want to talk about the Fallout 4 system specs? I mean, we kind of touched on it already.
Yeah, let's talk about it a bit more.
We can touch on it more.
Go ahead, James.
No, I don't have it up. Hold on.
Yeah, where's
I just wanted to touch on it more.
Okay, so the minimum requirements for Fallout 4.
There it is.
Windows 7, 8, or 10 must be 64-bit. An i5 2300 or Phenom X4 945. So those are pretty old processors, so no big deal there. 8 gigs of RAM. Imagine we'll be seeing that a lot more often. 30 gigs of free hard drive space. A GTX 550 Ti or a Radeon 7870. That Radeon card's way faster. And, that's not that bad. A 550 Ti is not really a great card. And then the recommended specs are an i7 4790 or an FX 9590. So basically a top of the line quad core.
Yeah, they went the other way.
Yeah. 8 gigs of RAM, 30 gigs of hard drive space, and a GTX 780 or an R9 290X. So we'll see.
Interesting.
We will see. Last bit of news is this Singularity Shame segment. All right. So guess what is a total thing that exists in real life? Metal Gear Solid 5 has their multiplayer mode where you have your FOB that you're building up and other people can come attack you and you can attack them and you have to build up your defenses and blah, 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 blah. So you can buy FOB insurance, which is a new service they're adding, where other players can take your stuff, but you'll still have it. So the other players get it and it's basically duping. You're letting other people dupe stuff, but there's not really like a loot economy, so that's not necessarily a big deal. But this real life insurance has to be paid for on a daily basis, and you can earn the coins to pay for it in game. But unless you're playing like people say 10 to 12 hours a day, you will not earn enough coins. So
Holy
you can use real world money. A single day of insurance is 50 coins. 2 weeks is 300 coins. So there's a discount if you buy in bulk.
So this isn't really pay to win. It's more like pay to not lose.
Pay to survive, right? And not everything's covered. So stuff that doesn't belong to, like it has to belong to only you. Or someone else can still take it. Wounded staff can be taken, and staff deployed in defense of your FOB can be taken, and nuclear weapons are also not covered, which makes sense. You don't want everyone duping nukes, but yeah.
Could you imagine if this was Fallout 4, like there was a multiplayer section of it, but if you lost everything you did in the single player game, like your money got taken, your loot from your storage compartments got taken. I mean, that would be you and James's like absolute nightmare. Like you would never ever touch that game.
I never plugged my Ethernet cable in.
I wonder why Hideo Kojima left.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, it does make you wonder what on earth is Konami thinking. I thought that.
They've dropped all of their big games anymore now. They're going to like mobile. They're doing mobile
and the slot machine.
And pachinko machines in Asia, which is a huge market, but the West doesn't really care about that. So
they're apparently going to make a Metal Gear like line of pachinko machines.
Oh, I bet they are.
Capture the youth market. Get them gambling early.
All right, it's now time for mail time.
Mail time.
You can write into the show at casualshenanigans@gmail.com with your comments, your questions, your tech advice, or tech questions, stuff like that. And if it's a tech question, we'll answer some of them on here. We'll answer the rest on Casual Shenanigans Tech, which is the podcast Dave and I do, where we go through and look at your builds and everything else. This past episode, which is out to Patreon backers now and will be out to the rest of you guys next week, we actually help a guy build basically a potato masher. We helped price out a potato masher type build for him, same budget.
How much RAM did you get him?
8, because it's dropped in price so much that I was like,
Yeah,
why
RAM.
not?
I know.
RAM is really
I'm
dropped.
just yanking your chain.
James is giving us the old YouTube comment treatment.
Someone actually left a comment on the Battlefront video on Reddit. They said, I really wish you would stop calling this a $350 PC, because that's actually pretty dishonest. And I had a smile on my face, but they got both barrels today. I was like, oh no, that's not how honesty works. Anyway, and I like someone left a comment under it. They're like, the potato masher is a concept. It's not a blueprint. I was like, thank you. But anyway, Team Bondar wrote in. They are part of our Rocket League tournament, which by the way is close to done. Next time we do a Rocket League tournament, we're probably going to do it all in one afternoon or one evening, and we'll stream the whole thing. Doing this way has been really nice, like where people just meet up when they can and play when they can, but it has stretched the tournament out a really long time, and we can't really archive all the matches. So it's been a lot of fun, but we're probably, as soon as it's over, we'll probably start planning immediately for the next one, I think, Joel.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
And we'll plan on doing it in a weekend. But Team Bondar, they defeated Mark and I, the Catabatic Kittens, and knocked us out of, they were our double elimination. In their defense, I did score quite a few of the goals they used to win against us because I was scoring them for the wrong team. The obscenities Mark was yelling at me were fantastic, but Team Bondar knocked us off. But they wrote in, "Hi, I wanted to ask anyone on the show that's willing to send Team Mr. and Mrs. Bondar a friend request on the PS4. It's been fun losing and winning in the tournament. I hope there are more in the future. Love the podcast still. A weird stranger. A weird stranger is Mrs. Bondar. So add a weird stranger or JP Bondar, JPBONDAR. If you have Rocket League and you want to play on the PS4, add them. They would love more people to play with him on the PS4. And that goes for me. I'm not going to volunteer everyone else's PSNs on here, but if you add me, Germ Gaming, on Xbox Live or PSN, I'm not always on there, so like it's no guarantee we'll play together. But like if I'm hopping into Rocket League and not doing anything, you want to hop in, that's totally fine. Just like send me a message or something. So yeah, cool. And no tech questions this week because we just answered them all earlier this week on the Tech Podcast.
Yeah, we did.
Although we may be taking different types of questions in the future.
What does that mean?
You know.
I don't.
Did you restart the conversation?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Where is this going?
Yeah, James, I had that panic moment of what have I agreed to that I do not remember. I think that
I was drinking that one night.
Yes. James and I did a serious casual conversation about being introverts a couple weeks back, and people have really liked it. So we've recorded another one. Patreon backers have it now, and the rest of you guys will get it early next week. But
see, the first one was kind of like the tail end of just my interview.
Yeah, it just happened.
But this one was a little more focused. I think it was good.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So the first one, it was interesting. Got to know you guys more.
It is now time for the Potato Masher. So we have more Potato Masher stuff for you this week.
Masher.
Let's not let that become a theme.
Keep workshopping that one.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get the thumbs down there.
Thanks,
Back to the
but
when Jeremiah does his thumbs down, it's way down.
I appreciate the effort. I mean, I know it wasn't a lot of effort, but I appreciate it. All right. Does everyone have the Rocket League video queued up?
Oh, but
Good
of
to go.
course.
Sweet. All right. Rocket League on the PS4 in 3, or on the Potato Masher. Oh my, I can't believe I just said that. 3, 2, 1. Hey, I'm Germ Gaming, and today we'll be comparing Rocket League on the PS4 and the Potato Masher. The Potato Masher is a $350 PC custom built in December of 2014 and designed to compete against the PS4 for the remainder of its life cycle. The goal is not to prove that PCs are better than consoles, but to show that PC gaming can be competitive with consoles for around the same amount of money. There are a lot of links in the description of this video that will give you more information, but for now, let's get to it. Rocket League was a surprise runaway hit this summer. Not only does it feature fast, competitive, and easy-to-learn gameplay, but it's one of the very few games that allows people on different platforms to compete with and against each other. Because of this, you'd expect it to be very important for both platforms to have a visually similar experience to avoid giving one side a competitive advantage. This is largely the case. The Potato Masher does look a little bit better, but it's only by a very small margin. Anti-aliasing is much better on the PC, and anisotropic filtering is slightly better. A few maps had subtle changes to lighting quality or volumetric effects like smoke clouds, but these are so small that I didn't notice them until I did a few side-by-side comparisons. Textures, models, and pretty much everything else appears to be identical. Curiously, the PS4 version of the Utopia map features additional architecture on the virtual stadium's perimeter and a slightly darker lighting setup. But other than that, both versions of the game are very close to identical. The PS4 runs Rocket League at 1080p and an unlocked frame rate. While it's capable of 60 FPS at times, the game normally stays in the mid-40s or low 50s. It is V-synced, so there's no noticeable screen tearing, which is good. On the Potato Masher, Rocket League ran at very high settings, 1080p and 60 FPS. There were occasional dips to 57 or 58 FPS, but the game is mostly 60 and dips of 2 to 3 FPS aren't felt. Dropping to high settings means that the frame rate never drops at all, but given the slight drops at very high settings, I'd rather have the better visuals in this case. Overall, both versions look great, and while the Potato Masher is technically better looking, the differences will be almost unnoticeable to anyone who isn't that bothered by excessive aliasing. A stable 60 FPS is of course better than a variable frame rate, but the PS4 keeps the frame rate high enough that it's only really noticeable when the footage is slowed down to half or even quarter the normal frame rate. I did see a little bit of frame time variance on the PS4 version at quarter speed, but this was unnoticeable when I was actually playing the game. At 1440p and high settings, Rocket League still maintained 60 FPS. I had zero dips in frame rate, so high settings once again appears to be the sweet spot between quality and performance. As usual, 4K requires a little more sacrifice. Rocket League still looks great at low settings, and you'll need to drop the settings that far to maintain 60 FPS. If you increase the settings to medium, the game is still mostly 60, with drops into the 40s and 50s, much like the PlayStation 4 version. This is pretty impressive considering 4K is 4 times the resolution of the PS4 version. I've played at least 15 hours of Rocket League on both platforms before I even started this comparison. It's a really fun game, and I love it on both platforms. Yes, the Potato Masher has more options to tailor the experience to exactly what you want, but both versions run extremely well and look fantastic. If it weren't for the excessive aliasing on the PS4, I would call this a complete tie. If you have questions about the Potato Masher, look in the description of this video for links to the original build video. You can also click the link on screen right now to see a frequently asked questions video. There's also a high quality download of this video in the description in case you want to pixel peep. Leave a comment if there's a game you'd like me to test on the Potato Masher, and have a great day. So there it is.
I don't think your link is working. I tried to click it like 6 or 7 times.
I don't know what link you're talking about.
It's at the end. It said you can click on the link on your screen right now.
Oh, the one on the version you downloaded?
I tried.
Yeah. Sorry, man. Can't do anything to help you. All right.
I think they're both more than capable.
They are. Oh, absolutely.
Very High did look a little more saturated, a little more contrasty.
Just a little more. That's on a lot of games. Just
that's sharper.
Really,
it looked sharper. Like there's a little more jagginess to the PS. I feel like 4K looked almost like cell shaded though.
Because I had to turn off the shaders. The shaders in that game make a huge difference. And actually, it like had a completely different art style.
Yeah.
It actually it looked pretty cool. Like I was kind of curious. Hey, if you can turn the graphics down this far, like what else could you put this on? Like because it did not look that bad.
That's why I was like, I want a mobile version. I don't know how
I've seen
they'll do
people
it, but
online.
I just want it.
I've seen people online who've gotten it running on really old computers by like manually turning off stuff in the INI files and things. And you can make that game look really bad if you want to.
Joel, if you could get that on your 2DS, would you just never put it down?
Yeah.
Until
I play a lot.
Fallout 4 comes out, and then
Well, yeah,
anything that Joel will
nothing
do,
will be existing while Fallout 4.
nothing will be existing. Not grammars.
I told Joy, I was like, Joy, you're gonna have to fend for yourself. I'm just like caging
As opposed to normal.
As opposed to loving, nurturing.
I cook
kidding.
90% of the time.
I meant fend for herself, like when you and John are just giggling and snuggling over the internet with your PS4s. No, I wasn't saying.
You better not be snuggling with
Joel,
John during Fallout 4.
I wasn't.
I'm the Fallout 4 person.
I'm the Fallout 4 spoon.
Have you ever thought of being the little spoon?
Dave, you're the Gwent spoon. Okay, don't push it.
Can it be a Fallout 3-way? Is there room for one more?
I don't know, Dave. You're gonna have a PC, and we're gonna have consoles.
This is true.
James, you gonna play it on the PS4?
Will the lovers bring us together?
At least at first.
Oh, you guys get mods this time too. That's gonna be so awesome.
The mods aren't gonna be as good though.
It doesn't matter.
But they still get them.
What's gonna matter is Joel and I have already talked about this.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Many times for years.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna set up a laptop and go ahead and send everything to Twitch so we can watch each other play while we're playing. So I can glance over and see what he's doing, and he can glance over and see what I'm doing.
So this is basically the standing next to each other at the urinal setup for Fallout 4.
It's our hack
Except
together.
I can't look away.
James, why don't you just take a couple days off work and drive
Except on a
out there?
Tuesday.
We've actually talked about that. Yeah.
If it was Thursday or Friday, easy. That would have been happening. But
Will you guys consider streaming for us on the?
It's gonna be streaming.
That's
so
how we're gonna be watching each other. Yeah, we'll be streaming.
Well, I can give you. Can we set up the info so you can stream to the Casual Shenanigans YouTube channel? I'm sure there are weird fans who would love to watch.
I won't have any of the comments up. I won't respond
I don't care.
to anyone.
I don't care about that. I'm just saying if you're going to stream for like 12 hours, might as well let's run some ads on it.
James is like, Joel, why don't you just wait to play till the weekend? We'll play together. And I was like, James, do you really think you can wait till the weekend? James is like, no. And I'm like, heck
James
no.
is going to be like driving to work with like a DC adapter in his car.
With a PS4 and like a monitor, trying to play and drive at the same time.
He's going to be having Eden is going to be using the controller, and James is going to be yelling at him like, what are you doing? Come on, Eden.
You
this
missed
is a team effort.
the loot. You missed the loot right
I'll pull the car over.
It probably should for safety, actually. I'm totally just watching the screen.
I mean, I could just like Uber.
I mean, you could. Yeah, that's a totally reasonable response to this situation.
Back in the car, please.
I spent like $300 just to get to Joel.
James,
So I can play the whole way.
James, you pay me a half of what you'll pay Uber. I'll even sit in for you at meetings at work. Like I'll just be James for a couple days. I don't care what else I got going on. What day does it come out?
November 10th.
1 second.
Tuesday.
He's doing the math. He's like, what's my schedule?
I have one more wedding. I have a wedding on the 14th, and then I'm done. So, I'm just throwing that out there, James. I'll be James for a few days. You know, I'll take that burden off of you. I don't
How are
like
your
kids,
parenting
though.
skills?
Yeah, I don't like kids. But you told me there's this trick with cell phones where you just give them cell phones.
They both like video games.
They like
too.
pizza.
Of course.
Pizza, cell phones. Uncle Jeremiah's coming to town. I'm pretty good with kids that aren't related to me. My nieces don't like me because of my size and imposingness. But most other kids that aren't related to me like
Most
me.
of Tokyo doesn't like you because of that.
Oh yeah, Shane said pizza. Just mention pizza. Shane's already rowing a boat over. Uncle Shane to take care of you kids. Oh no, he's probably gonna be playing Fallout. Never mind.
He better be.
He's stowed away in the hold of the ship with Fallout.
Shane could actually come over here though and play with us.
He could. That seems like a very unreasonable way to do that, but
Is
he
it?
could.
Is it?
If he was
yeah,
a real
cross
friend, if he was
continents.
a true friend.
Then you would go to England.
Well, Joel and I talked about just hooking. Like I mentioned him coming and visit and just hooking up a couple TVs side
You
by
should.
side.
I was gonna say you guys should just do it old school.
Like what we did for Bloodborne and stuff like that.
Yeah, you should just do it that way.
Yeah, we see.
That was
we would,
that was pretty
but it
glorious,
comes out
except
on
Jeremiah
Tuesday.
kept dying.
Yeah.
And then
Joey kept on making fun of you. That was great.
Jesse. It was
Jesse too.
I know
Jesse.
Joy made fun of me too,
again?
actually. Joy was making fun of me a lot too. Joy's a very nice person, but she wasn't being nice.
I mean, James, honestly, I could not
All right.
imagine if Fallout 4 came out on Thursday, I would be taking Thursday, Friday, and we would just be not moving or doing anything for 4 days straight and just playing Fallout.
Joel, is your internet messing up or something?
It is a little bit, yeah.
Is
Are
it?
you, are you backing up?
It seems fine now.
No.
It was just weird for a couple minutes. It's now time for 90 Seconds with Joel, though. A part of the podcast where Joel runs wild over our hearts and minds.
But not as long as last week.
Yeah, but not as long as last week. Let's keep controversial opinions to the... We ought to start another podcast series. Joel and Jeremiah discuss stuff.
But across the internet where you guys can't reach each other.
Okay, well, this was actually going to be fun this time, as opposed to all the other times that are boring as crap. Okay, so Jeremiah, I'm going to let you, if you could take your headphones off and don't look at the chat for a few, and I will wave to you like this to come on back, okay?
Tap your head so I know there's no accidents. Tap your head
Okay,
when I
I'll
come
go
back.
like this.
Okay.
Like that?
Okay. Yep.
Or
Sound
like-
good. All right. And you're going to explain what you're doing.
Yeah, I'll explain.
Okay.
All right. For tonight, I'm going to be, and Dave, Jeremiah, you guys, and James, you're more than welcome to help out because I think it'd be really funny. But we're going to be interviewing Jeremiah for a job. And so me and Shane actually helped me out, come up with a couple different job titles. They're just kind of silly. And so Jeremiah is just going to be playing along. He has no idea what the titles are. And he's just going to have to answer the questions as best as he can, just kind of going along with it. So the ones we have 4 of them. And so I'm going to let you guys kind of choose which one we should go for. So be quick about it. And so we'll get Jeremiah back. So here are the 4.
Did you tell them that he can't look at the chat?
Yeah, I told him not to look at the chat. So,
Okay.
yeah. What's up? Let me get back.
What?
Hey, just a reminder, when you come back, don't look at the chat as well. If you can just minimize it for a few.
I'll switch tabs.
Okay.
Don't look at the chat now either. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll switch to my Reddit fans who keep leaving me comments. I'll look at that for a few minutes.
Okay. So the 4 options are going to be a professional ghost, like an actual ghost, a snake charmer, a mime, or a demolition expert. So quickly type in chat which one you think we should go with. So Dave, James, what do you guys? What do you think we should?
The
go
correct
with?
answer
Which
is
one do you like the
totally
most?
professional ghost first. Like 100%.
I really
Just-
like that one. Just professional ghost.
Yeah, that could be good.
But I'm like, the mime could be really funny, and then also the demolition expert. Just knowing.
I feel like a mime's just an overdone thing. Nobody really likes mimes.
Yeah, no one likes mimes. But I saw this. Ellen did this on her show with Steve Carell, and it was just funny. She's just hilarious. But I was like, oh, let's just give this a shot with Jeremiah. So it sounds like we got snake charmer, demo expert, mime, all of them. We got demo because he's tall and sacry. What? Demo expert.
What?
Oh, scary, not sacry. Because he's tall and sacry. Shut up. What do you see, Dave? Do you think which? Okay, yeah,
It's got to be Ghost and
ghost.
Ghost.
All right, well, we're gonna do professional ghost. Okay, so if you guys want to help me out with that a little bit, I'll introduce it. But if you guys have any interesting questions that can kind of go with ghost kind of stuff,
Yeah.
help me along. So, all right, bring Jeremiah back.
Hey.
Hey.
patting your do-rag.
All right. So I'm not.
All right. So
right.
you just walked into my office.
Hi.
Interviewing for a job. Hey, how are you doing?
Hi. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for
Awesome.
talking to
So,
me today.
you know, why are you interested in this job? You know, what do you like about it?
I synergize well with people. I feel like I have many qualities that make me an excellent employee. I'm very punctual. I have high integrity.
Do you have a list of like buzzwords you're looking at right now?
No, this is off the top of my head. And I feel like I'm a real team player who's committed to a positive and friendly work environment.
Well, we're not necessarily looking for someone that's a team player. How do you feel working, sometimes alone, basically
Alone's
unseen?
good. I'm a motivated self-starter. When I'm assigned tasks, you don't have to check up on me all the time. I'll just take it and run with it. I enjoy working on my own. Working with other people is nice, but alone's okay.
Are you okay with working with children or just adults only? Your line of work.
Kids
Do you have
are
a
okay.
preference?
Kids are okay. I feel like I work best with adults. I feel like I connect with them on a deeper level than with children who are too small.
What's your favorite area to work in? I know you work late nights, and so that's got to be. Is that pretty hard? Like you're always working late nights in very dirty areas. I mean, sometimes out, morgues.
Dirty and late.
Yeah, but like
in morgues, yes.
a lot of houses, a lot of really crappy old houses. What room is your favorite room to work? You'd say.
Well, the question is, do they have a room with a computer set up? Because that would be number one. But I do love working in morgues and old houses. I feel like maybe the kitchen would be best. There's food, there's people, there's fun, there's laughter. I feel like I could really bring a lot to that situation. Your height must probably play into this a lot, I would say. It does. It's always an advantage in everything in life. It's the best.
What's your favorite? Dave, okay, go ahead.
Jeremiah, right?
Yes.
Jeremiah.
Yes.
Jeremiah. Okay, great. Usually in a workplace environment, traditionally you want your coworkers to really, mesh and work well together, but you don't want like lots of little petty conflicts dividing your workers. But, in your case, with your line of work and working alone, like we kind of want someone who like doesn't let things go, who kind of can hold a grudge and, doesn't forget, when people kind of, fight up that ladder. Like, do you feel like you could really just be aggressive and fight to get ahead with what you do? You think you're capable of that with your personality?
I mean, if it's for the company, I'll fight anything. I mean, you don't even know. Like, I go hard in the paint, if you know what I'm saying. Joel doesn't. He's old. But yes, I mean, if people wrong the company, I'll find out their weaknesses. I will systematically destroy everything they hold dear.
So you definitely won't let stuff go. Like you will follow it to the end. Like no quitting.
To the very end. To the grave and beyond.
I don't want him to scare you. This job doesn't take a lot of guts.
Oh, okay.
But you will be often chained to, your work environment.
Yeah. Now, I mean, a lot of people, can have different supernatural abilities. Like, what is yours?
They do? Oh,
yeah.
All right. My supernatural ability is the ability to strike fear into the hearts of everybody who's smaller than me, which coincidentally,
that's good.
Coincidentally,
we like that. Yeah,
is most people. Whether I'm running on the sidewalk or shopping in a grocery store next to them, standing near them, people don't like being near me, presumably because of my size.
I had a couple questions for you.
Yes.
Do you consider yourself to be someone that's transparent?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I mean, you probably do that for your job. To get to those various rooms and stuff that you need to.
Do you mind working the graveyard shift?
I'm a ghost, guys. I figured this out like 5 minutes ago, just so you know.
I'm a ghost, guys.
I was pretty sure when you said graveyard shift.
You're a professional ghost.
Or when you
what was 5 minutes ago?
Well, you said when you'll be working in morgues and in old houses. I was like,
oh yeah, come on.
I was pretty sure. That's okay. Do you want to try a different one? Do you want? Because I just kind of lucked into that one. Do you want to try it? Just pick another one of your things at random. You want to try that real quick? Or
I don't.
All right, we're looking at the chat.
Yeah, don't. Which one do you want to do?
We're looking at the chat.
Okay. How about we do? Yeah, don't look at it. I'll type it in.
I haven't looked at the chat.
Why don't you say it out loud, Joel?
What? Okay.
Rodeo clown.
I'm just gonna watch his lips move while he types.
And we'll just do that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. Hi.
Thank you for having me in today. I'm so happy to be here and interview for this position.
Joel, I feel like he's not going to be right for this position. I mean,
No, I'm right for it.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I'm right for
No, no.
Okay, well, no. Let's give him a chance. You know, everybody has their false
That's,
start.
that's a bad first
I'm right for
impression
it.
right out of the gate. Like that's not what we're looking for.
it. I am what you're looking for. You better give me a chance to prove it, sir.
Joel, he's not.
Okay,
stopping.
how are your speaking skills? Let's start with that.
Yeah.
They are amazing. I'm fluent mostly just in English, but I'm very fluent in English. I also speak a tiny bit of Spanish, and I've been told I have a very loud voice, and that's helpful in certain situations. Never heard any complaints about that, actually.
All right, well, we're not looking for any of those things.
Oh, all right.
So,
At all.
how are you working with your hands?
Good. Look at them.
Show us.
Look how much work I could do with these huge, just all this type of like
That's pretty expressive.
Just-
right
Are
there.
you-
I'm-
just
How
work.
good are you at building walls?
at building walls.
Yeah. Can you show us?
I
oh,
you just
hey,
put one
yeah, there
brick-
we go.
That's not
the
bad.
other.
That's not bad.
right, and then you just
I mean,
and
that's
then
certainly
also
not the best
second
we've
row.
seen.
I put another. I will be the best you've seen if you give me a chance.
Well, now, careful, Jeremiah. There's a wall there now, right? Like, you
Yes,
just built
there's a wall.
It. Like,
There's a wall right here.
Look at him go.
I'm a mime.
Did Joel give it away again?
No.
I did not do Dave was like, don't forget, you don't want to go through that wall.
Joel's like, can you build us a wall right now? Show us. Come on, let's do another one. This is fun.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Sure.
comments.
we didn't-
Comments.
we-
Do you want
we-
to suggest one?
There's only 2 left, Joel.
Okay.
Let's
okay.
just do the last
okay,
2.
Okay. We'll do.
So
this
should I
one.
just guess as soon as I know what it is? Should I just
Yeah,
say it?
sure.
All right. All right.
Okay. We'll
This is lightning round, which
Lightning
means we're going to go
round.
the exact
Lightning
same
job
speed.
reviews.
You're just
All
going
right,
to answer when you know.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to talk to you guys today.
You have a really explosive personality. We like you already.
Yeah.
How are you working with your hands?
Really good at building stuff, put stuff together.
Whoa. Easy.
Whoa.
Easy.
Don't, not
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
Too much
okay.
enthusiasm.
I'm sorry.
Can we go easy with those monster paws?
I'm sorry. All right. How, in what ways might I be able to help the business?
Are you
we'll ask the
are
questions here.
you colorblind?
Not that I know of, but how would I
good,
know?
good.
Mom said humor's good in interviews.
I mean, if you're presented with red and black, I mean, surely you can tell the difference between those at least, right?
Yes, I'm very
Okay,
confident
good,
I can tell the
good.
difference between red and black.
How about blue?
Barely confident, yes.
Do you have a preference of color?
between
Barely
red and
confident?
blue?
Yeah.
Blue. It felt right. It doesn't have to feel right though. I can feel different.
I mean, no. I don't want to take away your personal creativity as an artist. So don't take my preference over yours.
Okay. What other questions might you have for me so I can demonstrate to you what a good fit I am for this position?
How are your timekeeping skills?
My timekeeping skills. I have an amazing internal clock. I just count to myself over and over. Just 1, 2, 3. Those are all seconds. That's exact. You can check that.
Do you work well under pressure, Jeremiah?
Under pressure.
A lot of pressure. A lot of really intense pressure.
A lot of really intense pressure. Yes, I would say I work. I mean, do you see how fast I just answered that question? I mean, that's what more pressure do you need? Look how good I was at answering that just now.
So obviously communication is key. So you don't. I just lost it.
Communication is key.
I would ask the questions.
I don't have a key for that communication.
Lost the key.
Jeff says, "Do you like to go big?"
I
mean, do you work
I'm either
out-
doing that or going home. There's no it's just one or the other. You know what I'm saying? And I prefer to go big.
What's the
I don't
biggest
like going
project
home.
you've worked on?
The biggest
yeah.
besides your mother. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to say that.
Brownie points.
Brown nose and points.
All right. We'll move on from that question because that's not going the right direction. How are you looking at, say a big, problem and deconstructing it?
I like to see the tiny little pieces, and I think about pulling them apart, and I think about like seeing everything that makes them, and then just breaking down the problem and solving it piece by piece.
And now, how far spread would you say your focus, like when you're working on, how far spread would you say that your reach goes?
I mean, look at this
No.
reach,
Your project, not your arms.
reach,
Talk about your
reach.
project.
Project reach. I all around the world. I mean, there's nowhere the project can go that I will not have complete tabs on it at any time.
That's
exactly what
pretty
we're
good.
looking for.
That's pretty good.
If someone in chat, I think it's really important. How fast can you run? Is that become very key in your line of work? Or
Yes.
do you find you don't need to run as much?
I find that running, while not always necessary, is an added like little frosting on the cupcake for what I do.
Now, how are you at working remotely?
Working remotely. I can when the job calls for it. I prefer to be in person, handling things up close and personal. But I can work remotely when the situation calls for it.
Now, are you willing to see the job through no matter what?
Yes. Please don't be a terrorist. Please don't be a terrorist.
I feel like a lot of walls are coming down now. I feel like
Am I
I'm
an
really getting to know.
explosives person?
Yes.
Yes,
Gamma
DoD
expert.
specialist.
Ding, 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 ding.
I was suspicious, but I wasn't sure.
Am I a terrorist?
Joel would. He totally would.
Yeah.
All right. Can I go back to chat now?
Yeah.
good.
I think we're good.
We don't
now.
want to do the last one.
Nah, let's keep rolling. Those were the 3 good ones, I think.
I haven't looked at chat yet. You have one more chance.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, cool. All right.
It's Battlefront time.
And then we have one more story, I believe, Dave. I'm looking in the 90 seconds with Joel, 10 minutes with Joel, as it's normally called. And we have something about Dave and Gwent.
Oh, yeah. So I don't want to give away too much about the video that Joel and I are working on. What I will say is that we spent a number of weeks now carefully planning out some Witcher-themed costumes. And we've been custom building a Gwent board, which is the card game from The Witcher 3. And Joel, I'd say that we've put probably like between research, purchasing, going to Home Depot, getting lumber, cutting, wood burning,
Trying
measuring,
on
staining
costumes.
for each other. Yeah, we're like in like the 50, 60 hour mark or more
Yeah.
easily for this project. It's gonna be cool when it's over, but Tuesday night, I was trying to finish the last half of the game board. I needed to stain it. Actually, no, that night I needed to finish the last 2 little spots of wood burning,
You
stain
need to
it.
remove the stains that are already on there. Before you stained it.
Must we?
There it is.
Must
We
we?
must. Knowing how much time they freaking put into this game and how often they play it, I will go there every time.
he's not totally wrong. But yeah, so doing the wood burning and all, I lost the last bit of natural light, so I just turned on the front porch light, and I was going to do the staining in the front yard in the dark with a flashlight. And so I put
what could
plywood
go
down.
wrong?
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? So I finished the wood burning, going for the staining. It's about a 15-minute process because with all the wood burning, there's lots of like crevices. You really gotta get the rag in there and get a solid stain for the whole board to get an even coat. Doing that with a flashlight is really difficult because you have to hold the board up, hold the flashlight. I've got the glove and the rag with the stain and all. I'm not 30 seconds to staining this stupid board with all these hours put into it. Probably 6 or 7 hours of wood burning at this point. I'm wearing shorts, thankfully. I put both knees into a giant pile of dog crap without realizing it at first.
I didn't
In
see
the
it
dark.
going that way.
Yeah, like I have no idea where this dog came from, so it definitely wasn't my dog. But it was like cow pie consistency, and I have never smelled anything like this. I told Joel, this is how dedicated I was for this project.
He didn't get up. He stayed there and
I
finished.
stayed there. I sat there because once you start staining, I'd already stained like one corner. You can't stop because you'll get an uneven stain. You have to do a consistent coat, both sides,
Dave.
all edges, all the way through for almost 20 minutes
You knelt in dog crap. Dave.
to finish the stain.
The sacrifice
I
he
respect
made.
that a little, but only a little.
I knew that. I was like, there's no turning back. I like plugged my nose. Also, I could smell was like stain, thankfully.
Jeremiah.
But
And then he got high.
yeah. But
and then it
I
starts
actually
smelling good.
I finished it, and it actually came out pretty great. I was pissed about having to go take like a half shower before going for a run, though. That seemed like a waste.
Jeremiah, just to give you an idea of what we're building and what I think it's worth, that honestly, I think if we were done, if we were going to sell just the things that we're building, I think someone would easily pay $1,000 for. Easily.
$1,000?
The people that are so hardcore for what we're playing, I mean, they really are. Because I know probably what I would pay for what we're building. Like, I wouldn't pay that much, but I'd pay a decent penny for it. Because, I mean, I've really, really enjoyed playing this game with Dave, and it's just fun. It's
something I've realized, James, is looking at some of our costume stuff. Like, we totally went for like the $30 Halloween style costumes, where like, as long as you control camera angles and lighting, you can make them look good. But the people we're talking about are the ones who are going and ordering the $1,000 customized actual leather studded armor with the custom chainmail. Like, people are buying those, $300 sets of boots off of eBay. There are people who are buying those.
And especially this is literally just a one-off thing. So I think
nothing else like it exists.
And I told Dave, I was like, if we're all done and we play this for a while and we need some money, we honestly could sell this as a one-off.
Yeah, you'll make
probably
Dave is never
50 cents an hour.
Well, but
Yeah.
but still.
I'll never let go, Joel. I'll never let go.
But yeah, I told Dave, I was like, we could put a lot more costume. I don't want to spoil the rest of the stuff, but like all the stuff together and make it one big bundle and collection. We could probably sell for like $3,000, like easy.
I don't know about that.
Easy.
Easy? I think someone could just send someone $3,000 that does this professionally.
People are paying
and get something.
$250 just to buy what's already out. Like, I mean, because like you can get it, but it's really hard to get. $250
For what?
For the 2 card sets that came with the Xbox One
just
collector's boxes.
2 sets of cards.
Wait, how'd you guys
one-
get them?
Etsy.
Yeah, we found someone on Etsy that got canceled.
He got shut down the week, 2 weeks after we ordered our
So
cards.
you guys
he got
have a
shut down.
pretty rare thing now.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. But we also what we're building is 100% rare.
After we played Jeremiah, we started doing card checks now, because if we lose a card, like, there's no way to replace it ever. Like, they're...
If you I hope you guys, I'm sure you're going to get some traffic from like the Witcher Twitter or something when you're done.
We're enjoying every second.
Yeah, we're enjoying.
We're
having a lot of fun. We're gonna do it right, but it's definitely. I think it's gonna do really, really well. Like, I know I personally, if I saw this, I'm like, oh my gosh, Dave, I want to buy this. Like, I would really enjoy it. So
For $3,000. I would not pay a single penny less.
Well then, congratulations to you guys. You'd be happy for years to come. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, there's that.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
But other than that's been the show. Thank you guys for coming out. As always, write into the show at casualshenanigans@gmail.com. Next week, we're going to have Scanner Barkley on. We're going to be talking all about the Battlefront beta, which we're going to be playing a lot of. And you guys will be playing more than me because I have a doubleheader wedding this weekend, but I'll play as much as I can, and we'll talk about it.
I'm going to be in a cabin all weekend. I don't know what you're talking about.
Good point. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, thank you guys for coming out. Find us on iTunes, rate us there. You can also go to casualshenanigans.com, get access to all kinds of awesome stuff we're doing. If you want to get the Casual Shenanigans tech episodes and the casual conversations a week early, go to patreon.com/casualshenanigans and consider supporting us there. It pays for lots of cool stuff. Keeps the mics on. And then we have Facebook and our YouTube channel, which you're probably watching this on right now. So thank you, everybody, for coming out. If you've been excited about Potato Masher videos coming up, there's a bunch coming. I'm just waiting for some stuff to get mailed to me, some games I'm renting, and we have a bunch more working on. So
Fallout 4 fanfiction story.
And your Fallout 4 fan fiction story, make sure you write it. Send it to casualshenanigans.com, casualshenanigans@gmail.com. Joel and James are the main characters.
We're also the main critics.
That's true. Brown nosings accepted. Why can't I carry all this loot as a line you must use? The winner gets a copy of Fallout 4. Your story must be submitted by November 10th. And the last and most important rule, Dave is allowed to enter. Dave, there better be an entry from you.
I was going to say, Joel, you never seen my creative writing before, have you? I haven't done a whole lot.
No, I really want to see you write it.
Dave's dusting off the pen.
The
it's
writings
so
I have seen is from the Arma 3 missions and stuff like that. And I know you go into detail and stuff. So I'm just curious to see what you do.
One page, Dave. One page.
I actually do I really enjoy writing, so I think I'm going to enter, even if just for fun.
Oh, please
to
do.
Conquer.
But don't worry, Joel. I'm just as harsh on him with his armor writing now as I was with Norman.
Oh, we spent some hours.
I'm sure.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna rewrite this section here.
All right,
That
guys.
was, it was good stuff.
I was like, fix it for me, James. Just fix it all.
Thank you all for coming out. Thank you, hosts. We'll see you all next week. And until then, stay casual.